Well, hello everybody, and thanks for stopping by. We're going to start with the lymphatic massage. So, just a little highlight, lymphatic system helps move toxins through the body, and it only really does that when we're moving and bouncing and walking and running, things of that nature, which we don't necessarily get to do every day. The point of the massage is to bring some circulation and some stimulation, helping the nervous system get the system prepped in order to help it move things out of the body. So we're going to take two fingers and we are going to find the pointy part of the jaw. All right, so we're at the pointy part of the jaw. I'm going to go underneath the pointy part of the jaw. And we don't have to overthink this. While we're going through this massage, we want to find our breath. So in through the nose. And imagine softening your muscles on your exhale. The speed of the massage is irrelevant. It's going to be a little different for each of us. But if you notice that you're going kind of fast, maybe slow it down. Vice versa. If you notice, ooh, I'm going really slow, maybe speed it up a little bit. All right, we're going to drop the hands. We're going to take the right hand and we're going to find the left collarbone. We're going to go underneath the collarbone. And there's a little space there. In that space is where we're going to move this massage. Again, find the breath. Next, we're going to go over the top of the collarbone and down. I like to say this is the bowl. We can drop our head in that direction. So in this case, we're going to go left ear, left shoulder. And we're going to go into that bowl and massage again. Big breath. Big exhale, soften the muscles. Next, we're going to take all four fingers and we're going to go in between the chest and the shoulder joint. If anything feels a little tender, give it some extra attention. You can move around a little north, south, east to west and find the spot that feels right to you. Again, let's find the breath. All right, let's drop that hand. We're going to repeat this on the other side. I'm going to move my microphone a little bit. So again, we're going to go left hand, right collarbone. We're underneath the collarbone. There's a little indent there above the chest muscle. And let's find the breath. Next, we'll drop the right ear to the right shoulder, go over the top of the collarbone, down into this bowl between the collarbone and the muscles. Find the breath. Next, we're going to take all four fingers. We are going to go in between the chest and shoulder. Again, find your breath. Next, we'll take two fingers each hand. We're going to travel to the base of the sternum. So just where the soft tissue begins at the top of the abdomen, and we're going to start making that massage. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. We're making little circles, and every few circles move down incrementally, maybe a ½ inch or so. Make a few more circles and then move down again. We're traveling down the center line of the body. Eventually, you'll make your way to your belly button. When you get there, keep the small circles going, but travel in a big circle around the belly button. Think a planet orbiting the sun. Find your breath. Keep the abdominal wall soft and relaxed, and go in both directions around the belly button. All right, next we're going to go in between the hip sockets. So I'm going to turn sideways just so we can see what I'm doing. So hands on pelvis. I'm going to soften the knees, pull back the hips, and I want to feel like my weight is in my full foot. I don't want to feel like I'm back on the heel or forward on the toes. I'm going to massage in between the hip socket and the lower abdominals or the groin. So again, we're trying to go in between the legs and the pelvis. Find your breath. If anything's too tender, maybe back off a little bit. That sometimes can happen. And our last spot, we're going to bring our knees a little closer together. So I'm kind of here. Feet together, knees together. And I'm going to put the weight now a little bit more in the front of the feet so that the back of the knees is nice and soft. The muscles back there are soft. And we're going to breathe again. Relax on the exhale. One more. Good. Let me straighten up my little mat here. Next, we're going to get the feet wide. So as I mentioned, that first practice is to help stimulate the lymphatic system. Next part is to move circulation through the body. So my feet are outside my hips. We want to kind of draw, if you watch my hand here, I want to draw our belly weight in a little bit. All right. It's not a squeeze of the core. It's a little bit of a vacuum. To help you do that, you can breathe in big through your nose, fill your belly. Exhale with an open mouth sigh. I keep exhaling till there's no more air. You're going to feel that light vacuum. Try to keep that vacuum and keep breathing through your nose. I'm going to bring a little bit of a bounce here. Now, I said try to breathe through the nose, so at least inhale through the nose. The exhale, let it be whatever you want to be, but in through the nose. So we have the feet a little wider than the hips. We get a light vacuum of the belly button. And we're bringing in this light bounce. Allow your eyes to be soft if not closed. This is an opportunity to stimulate as many structures in the body as we can. There may be different parts of the body that hold a little bit more tension than others. We don't have to overthink this, but we may notice it. First thing we're going to do is take our attention to the feet. There are over 20 joints in each foot. See if you can sense which ones have weight in them and which ones don't. Maybe there's a little bit more weight on one part of the foot than there is on the same part on the other foot. Maybe you can make subtle little shifts to transfer or put pressure into different parts of the foot. Just exploring here. Maybe you can sense the dropping in of your ankles or the pulling out of your ankles. Just putting weight again and pressure in different parts of the over 40, almost 50 joints between the 2 feet alone. Next, we're going to go up into the hips. So you'll notice I'm bringing a little bit of a shift, or maybe you have your eyes closed, and if that's the case, keep them there. But putting again a little bit of pressure on maybe one hip or the other hip, or maybe you notice one has all the pressure in it, and you want to try to shift that around. Maybe you twist the hips a little bit. Maybe you bring the hips forward a little bit, put more weight in the back of the hips. Maybe you push the hips back a little bit and put more weight in the front where the thighs are. Just playing around, shifting around, finding spots. If you find anything that feels really dense or really tense, stay there. Keep shaking it, keep breathing. Maybe you'll sense it relax a little bit. Next, we're going to imagine our spine. So maybe little turns or twists start to come in. I like to just imagine that as I bounce, the vertebrae are bouncing off of each other, jumping around, getting more spacious and light. And maybe little twists start to come into the whole body. Maybe you lean to one side or the other. Start to notice the relationship between the weight of the feet and the movement of the spine. Just playing around. Keep in mind that when we talk about practices that help relax the nervous system and the body, at the top of all research, you find things like play and dance. So let's not take this too seriously. Let's go up into the shoulders and shake the shoulders about. I like to say this is when the weird family member we don't see very often shows up at the party and they got their old and funky dance. I'm going, what's going on with that guy? But they seem like they're having a good time. Find the breath. Let the arms settle a little bit so we can bring that shake up to the neck. So this is the yeses and the nose. We'll bring the head back to stillness, keep the bounce in the body. And then maybe the heels start to leave the ground. Maybe the feet start to leave the ground. This is going to be our 30 seconds of bounce and play. As I said earlier, bouncing up and down, walking, running is what helps toxins move out of the body. I also said that play, dance, things of this nature are really supportive for our nervous system. So again, don't take it too seriously. Maybe you want to practice your dance moves. Maybe you want to practice your fighting stances. Play around. We got 15 seconds. Be light. Every exhale, every time you tap the ground, try to let any tension in the body leave and soften. But when I say 1, we're going to stomp and finish, not necessarily hard. 2, 1, and settle. And just notice how the body has shifted. Notice how the body has changed. I'm all over the place, so I'm going to re-pull my mat out here. All right, so for our next series, as I said, we're going to get into opening up the complex joints of the body. That's going to be the spine, hips, and shoulders. Let's grab something for our head. So it could be a pillow, a yoga block. I'm going to use a foam roller. We want something that's wide enough so as we move, our kind of head can stay supported on this. We're going to use it like a pillow. If you're using a pillow or something that's fabric, make sure it's thick enough so that your head will be in line with your spine when you're lying down. So for this setup, we're going to come down into the fetal position. We're going to bring the knees so that they align with the hips. And we're going to make sure that this down shoulder is underneath us and not in front of us. Getting the head in line with the spine, we'll place the hands together. This is a breathing and moving meditation. Moving slow with your breath is the only objective. As we go through this movement, if there is any restriction in the body, if there's a tightness in the neck, a pinching in the shoulder, a stiffness in the low back, that's your indicator you don't need to go any further. We want to let the breath drive the movement. So as I inhale, my posture is going to open, and I'll show you in a moment. When I exhale, my posture is going to close. An optimal pace would mean that as you finish the part of your inhale or that movement that's with the inhale is also ending. So the movement and the inhale is ending at the same time, and same thing on the exhale. So movement is hands together. As I inhale, I slide my top arm along my bottom. My elbow starts to pull back. As my elbow pulls back, my shoulder pulls back. And if you have the range of motion, you'll end up bringing that hand all the way to the shoulder. Your chest will start to open up to the ceiling, but your knees are going to stay together. We don't want the hips to come back or the knees to open up. Knees will stay together. If you can't get this far, you would stop before here. And if you can go farther, which I cannot, you might end up with your chest looking all the way up to the ceiling. When you exhale, you're going to slide it back out. So it'll look like this in real time. All right, let's join me. And we're going to do about a minute each side. So hands together. Slide the top hand on the bottom arm during your inhale, coming to your own or its own shoulder. And exhale it back out, sliding the arm along the body. Stay with it in your own rhythm. Try to experience the pause between the breaths, holding at the open position for a moment, and then holding at the closed position for a moment. This movement is gonna bring some independence to our vertebra. It's gonna twist the spine open. It's gonna glide the shoulder back on the rib cage. It's gonna help to animate and open the shoulder joints. And when I say joints, I mean just the shoulder itself, right? Because we have both the arm joint and the shoulder blade. So we're allowing them to glide and not forcing anything. And then we're rotating the spine away from the pelvis, getting a good twist as well. Halfway there. Next one's your last one. Take your time. Good. Let's go ahead and switch sides. So again, reminder, we want to get the head in line with the spine. We want to get the knees up to the hips. We're going to take the bottom shoulder. We want to make sure it's underneath us. We're lying on that joint. It's not in front of us. I'm going to clap the hands together. The inhale is bringing that top arm along the bottom arm, sliding it to its own respective shoulder. And the exhale, controlling back out. Something I should have mentioned earlier, do your best to leave your head heavy on whatever support you have it on. Try not to follow the movement with your eyes. If your head gets brought along for the movement with the rest of the body, that is fine. But we don't want to necessarily try to look where we're going. 1 minute. Inhale, nice and slow. Moving at the pace of the inhale. Trying to time it so that you hit the end of your accessible range of motion at the same time you finish the inhale. Exhale, same thing. I'm moving slow and controlled on my way back, trying to finish the movement at the end of the exhale. Your last couple. And rest. All right, now we're going to do something, I guess we'll call it similar for the hips and the low spine. So if that was opening up our shoulders and our mid spine, the upper spine separate from our low spine and pelvis, this is going to do that for the low portion of the body. This move ends up looking, well, if you've ever done a bridge, right, it's going to be very familiar in the sense that we're going to be lifting a hip off the ground by pushing with the foot. However, very important distinction. This other hip, the hip of my straight leg, I want to leave on the ground. So in this case, I have my right knee bent. As I inhale, I'm going to push my right foot into the ground. You want to feel that energy move up into the hip. And as the energy from the push comes into the hip, that right hip starts to rise off the ground. But again, my left side stays heavy, low on the ground. As I exhale, I'm going to slowly put that hip back down on the floor. So to give you a different angle here, inhale, push. This right hip lifts, it almost rolls my pelvis to the left. Knee stays facing the ceiling mostly. And as you exhale, you're going to bring that back down. Now, your upper body, in this case, right leg, my right rib cage, shoulder, arm, I want that to stay on the ground. If we're stiff, I might start to lift and everything might go with it. Right? That's an indicator you do not want to go that far. Some of us will barely get off the ground. You may be able to bridge high or lift if you want to, but if everything is coming with you, if you feel any tension or restriction in your spine, ribs, even shoulder or neck, that's an indicator you're going too far. You want to find the comfortable range of motion, so we are moving the hips and the pelvis and the low spine separate from the upper spine and the shoulder. We can put the arm out to the side. This is kind of our easier position. And if I have a pretty good range of motion, if I can lift my hip pretty good and my ribs stay on the ground, I can put the hand behind the head. This is going to challenge the shoulder mobility separate of the pelvis a little bit more. So let's work together. As I inhale, I'm going to push my foot into the ground, feel that energy come up into the hip, feel the hip start to roll off the ground. Once I feel some restriction anywhere, in this case, I feel it in my hip and a little bit in my shoulder, we're going to exhale and put that back down. Now, this range of motion may open as we do the drill over the minute. So 1 minute. Inhale, pushing the foot into the ground, allowing the hip to rise. Once I feel restriction, I stop. Exhale, slowly, purposefully, gently put the hip back down on the ground. Stay in the movement. This is a moving meditation. The slower you go, the stronger you're getting. Patience is the fastest way to results and change. Or change that we own and last, I should say. Last two. And last one. All right. I'm gonna switch my angle anyways. You can stay wherever you are. Recap. I'm working my left leg in this case. I want my right side to stay on the ground. So I inhale, I push the foot down, feel the energy travel into the hip, feel the hip start to lift. As the hip lifts, it feels more like a roll over to the side than a lift. Knee faces the ceiling. If you can start to move off the ground without having too much restriction and stiffness, you put your arm out to the side. If you feel like you can travel most of the range of motion and keep the rib cage on the ground, well, then you can put the hand behind your head to increase the mobility challenge. Again, inhale, we push down. Exhale, control down. Inhale, push down. Exhale, control down. And one more. Good work. All right. So as I mentioned, these drills so far have been in order to create some separation, some opening, some fluidity between our shoulders, hips, and spine. Our next two drills are going to challenge our core, both in the front and in the back, and is going to kind of tie all of that into each other. So first drill, lying on our back. We would put one hand overhead. So I'm going to put my left arm overhead. You're going to take your right arm and you're going to reach across almost as if I'm reaching at an angle towards my right hip. As you reach, you'll eventually feel your shoulder move forward on your rib cage. As the shoulder moves forward on the rib cage and you keep reaching, like there's a golden ticket, $1,000,000, something you really want, you're going to start to feel the core engage as well. And that reach is going to be the thing that starts to take you off the ground. Don't focus on trying to get off the ground. Focus on the reach. Once it takes you off the ground, and once you feel like you're on your opposite side, in this case, my left side, I'm going to slowly try to put myself back down and rest the arm on the ground. I'm going to do a couple, take note, and then we'll put it all together. Reach. Feel the shoulder connect to the ribs, ribs connect to the core, brings you over on your side. Bring the arm back. Use your core to put yourself down nice and slow. Again, reach towards the hip, right hand to left hip, until you feel the shoulder connect to the ribs, ribs connect to the core, roll you on your side, and then control it back down. Let's go together for 6. Reach. Breathe in whatever way feels right. Feel the shoulder connect to the ribs, ribs connect to the core. Again, emphasize the reach. Right? Imagine like there's something sitting on you, right? Something's restricting you, and all you have is this reach to get, I don't know, the keys to get out of the room you're locked in, or hit the button to defuse the timer. Whatever it is, whatever scenario you want to put in your head that helps you focus on the reach, pulling you. We got 2 to 3 more, depending on your pace. All right, let's switch it up. So again, whatever arm is not reaching is overhead. And you're reaching across at an angle like you want to touch the opposite hip. So in this case, I'm going left hand towards right hip and then beyond that hip. When you're going back down, you're using your core to slow down the process. You got about 3 to 4 more, depending on your pace. Focusing on shoulder connects to the ribs, ribs connects to the abs. The reach is the thing that pulls you up and over. Once you get onto your side, you stop, you pause, don't go all the way over. That's going to be our last one. I'm going to take it all the way over. You do not have to, because you're going to want to watch what we do next. Make sure I'm in the frame here. Okay. So, let me fix this with that. All right. So, we're going to do that on the back side of the body now. And this one can be significantly more challenging, so bear with me. One hand's overhead, One hand's out to the side. And actually, let me move this microphone so we can all hear me properly. All right. So in this case, I'm going to reach my left arm. So my head is looking to the left as well. I want to lift straight up. I do not want to go back towards my hips, and I certainly don't want to rotate my arm. I'm going to keep the palm facing the floor. I'm going to lift my arm straight up, feel my shoulder blade connect to my ribs and spine. I'm feeling the pull through the middle of my back. And again, I'm imagining like I'm always almost going towards that other hip, but with my shoulder blade, not my hand, until that brings me onto my side. Then I'm going to use my core to control to go back down. Now, this one's significantly more challenging than the other one. You may find yourself pushing into the floor with your feet. That is fine, but try to do that as little as possible. All right, we're going to do 6. So we're going to lift up, feel the shoulder connect to the spine, feel it bring me onto my side, use the core, control back down. Reach, feel the shoulder pull into the back, and control back down. Now, unlike when we were in the front, this isn't just going to be the shoulder doing it. You're going to feel more of your body get involved. You're going to feel more of the crunch of your back, maybe even a little push through your leg or arm to make this happen. That is fine. 2 to 3 more, depending on your pace. And last one. And we're going to switch sides. I'm going to take my time here so we get a good view so everyone can see me. So recap. One arm's overhead. In this case, is my left arm. My right arm's up to the side, so my head's looking to the right. I'm going to lift, feel that right shoulder, connect to the rib cage, connect to the spine. This one's a little more difficult for me. As you can see, I didn't necessarily get right up. I'm also a little too close to the wall. But take your time. Don't be in such a rush to go over. Let the body build the connection. It's not going to happen on your first try. Take your time. We're doing 6. So as I lift the arm, I feel that shoulder blade pulling towards the middle of my back, almost towards the opposite hip. And then I slowly, using my core, try to put myself back down. Doesn't matter how you're breathing, but keep breathing. All right. We tend to hold our breath when something's tough. Keep that in mind. Last 3 or so, depending on your tempo. And rest. All right. So, bonus. Anybody that is up for it? Sorry, I need the microphone. Bonus for anybody that's up for it. I'm going to go over this variation of, or rather, this combination of what we've just done. We're not all going to do that together right now. If you're feeling froggy, if this feels very fun and accessible, I suggest that you play around with it. You know, maybe pause the video, and then when you're done playing around with it, you can come back and finish the last move, or you could sprinkle it in some other time. But what we can do is we can take those 2 moves and we can turn it into 1 roll. Very important to remember that movement doesn't have to be a certain thing. Any movement can be restorative, developmental, rehabilitative, or strength building. Right? And so it's just how do we apply the intention to the movement? With that being said, I can take that move, put these 2 moves together in a very slow and focused way in order to work on the development of it and to work on the skill building and almost restorative aspect. I'm sorry, not restorative, rehabilitative aspect of it. Be going very slow and noticing what does or does not connect, not being in a rush, and trying to work on my sensing of the connectivity to the movement. That's also going to help me to get stronger as well. And the slower I move, the stronger I'm getting. Or I can take that and I can use momentum and have a little bit more play involved here. And when I bring play involved, that's when it gets a little bit more restorative. Because I'm not stressing out any of the tissues per se. I'm not trying to do the movement strictly with only one part of the body. I'm letting everything get involved and I'm having fun with it. Fun being the key factor there. Makes it more restorative, makes it more settling for the nervous system because we're not straining, right? So different speeds and different intentions for different effects. So keep that in mind if you play around with that drill. Now we're down on the floor. And what we got to do when we're down on the floor to go about the rest of our day is get up off the floor. Getting up and down off the floor is a basic human movement. But for many of us, we lose that capacity over time. And that can vary depending on the position or the way in which you try to get up and down off the ground. But your ability to get up and down off the ground is going to determine not just your quantity of life, but also your quality of life, your ability to be independent and do things for yourself. If you're in your 20s or 30s, this might not be all that interesting to you. But I can assure you, if you continue to grow past that and it starts to get challenging to do so, it'll become much more valuable and insightful for you to work on these skills. Not to mention anything that we do from a strength training perspective, right? Squatting, lunging, right? They're just parts of that getting up and down off the ground. So we're going to work on that right now. We're going to work on that through the lens of a hinge. A hinge is amazing when we use it to get up and down off the ground because we're working on upper body strength, upper body mobility, core development, as well as hip mobility and posterior chain, kind of think hamstrings and calf flexibility. It's all coming together at the same time. So the beginning of this, you're going to think of it like a down dog. And actually, real quick qualifier. For some of us, we may put our hands on the ground and have a little bit of tension in our wrists. A lot of the reason for that is usually going to be because we put the weight on the wrist as opposed to the hand, knuckles, palms, and fingers, and we're sinking as opposed to pushing. So I suggest that you roll your fingers onto the ground first, and then put the pressure into your knuckles or the pads of your hands. And try to keep minimal weight in the heel or the wrist. So think of this like a down dog. You're going to draw in your core, not squeezing it, but sucking the belly button in very lightly. You're going to push through your arms. And as you inhale, keep the knees bent. So it's not an exact down dog. Keep the knees bent. Imagine you're pushing your tailbone up to the ceiling. From here, we will walk, walk, walk as many times as you need to get to your feet. Now, some of us will be stuck like this. That's fine. It doesn't matter what shape you end up in. Just get as close as you can. You might be stuck out here. You might have to push onto your heels. That is also fine. But before you stand up, bring your shoulders back. Tighten your core and push. Don't try to stand from your back. Push your legs into the ground. Let the glutes and the feet do the work. On your way back down, keep your hands on your body. Imagine your chest is up like you're trying to show someone a logo on your chest. Superman, maybe it's a necklace you want to show off. I don't know, whatever it is that you want to show on your chest, but keep that chest up. Hinge until you can't hinge anymore, until you get tightness in your hamstrings. For some of us, that may be way up here. Some of us, it may even be up here. Once you get that tightness, then it's okay to round. Round as much as you need to get to the ground. Maybe you're stuck here. Maybe you're going to fall a little bit on your hands. That's fine. But then again, walk, walk, walk. Keep bending the knees and try to get the knees down under the hips. We're just going to do 6 of these. Nice and easy. Inhale, push. Push as far as you can. Feel the shoulders get stretched overhead. Feel the tailbone get pushed to the ceiling. Walk your hands in. Get the weight in the heels. Bring the shoulders back. Push through the feet. And now let's go at your own pace, own tempo. Keep breathing. Now move through your hips. Try not to bend and round your spine. One more. Do your last one if you haven't already done it. And then join me in the standing position. Well, thank you for taking some time to check in with yourself, check in with me. But most importantly, thank you for taking the time to move your body. Movement determines everything. Our life, our existence is all predicated off good, healthy movement. All discomfort, dysfunction, stagnation, stiffness, right? It's all a result of a lack of movement, whether that's circulation or physically moving the body. And these practices tackle both of them. So take what was valuable, take what stood out, and practice it throughout the week. Maybe it's not the whole sequence. Maybe it's just a little portion of that. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week and move well, move often. Have a good one.